You're
What
live.
is up, guys? We are live, and I'm Alex with the Whole Health Collective. And today we are going to talk about plant medicine and the benefits of it. And here we have Jeff from the Whole Health Collective, who has actually healed himself through plant medicine. I've had some experiences with it. If you've ever tripped balls, this is the show for you. Um, I'm just kidding. But for real, this stuff is amazing, and we can't wait to tell you guys about it. Bridget?
Yes. Hello, I am Bridget. I'm from 5D Health. It's a pleasure to be here. I love this topic. I'm so interested in it. I've always been drawn and attracted to this idea of plant medicine, spiritual ceremonies. Going to, I've always imagined myself like going to the Amazon or somewhere like super sweet to like take a ritual spiritual ceremony and plant medicine. I've yet to do it yet, but I do want to, and that's why I am very
You're
excited
gonna.
to talk to you, Jeff, to hear about your experience. And can you tell us a little bit about where you were before you were here today?
Yeah, for sure, Bridget. Thank you. Yeah, well, I was thinking like I would kind of just begin with like how I got to plant medicine in the first place. So I had been struggling for many years with mental health and addiction. And I don't know, I think really the universe just aligned. Like things just lined up perfectly at one point. And a family member just ran into somebody who had done plant medicine called Ibogaine. And so from that, she, got the contact info for that place. And that was my first experience. And Ibogaine is really one of the most challenging of the plant medicines, but it's also one of the most healing. It heals on a physiological and a spiritual, emotional, mental level. So
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
What is Ibogaine? Like what plant is this?
Okay, Ibogaine is from Africa.
Okay.
It is guarded by the Bwiti tribe, and they use it for a coming of age ceremony, right? So, it's like a coming of age ritual for them.
Like when you hit puberty.
Exactly. Yup. Super intense, like just 3-day ceremony. It's a shrub, and it's like a root bark. For Western medicinal uses, they sort of extract the alkaloids from the plant and then put it in a capsule form. And that, if you go to a clinic, because there's so many clinics, even in Canada, it's actually legal. There's a couple clinics in Canada where it's provided in a medical setting. And then, of course, Mexico, there's got to be close to 40 or 50 clinics, some better than others, that do provide Ibogaine for people with addiction, trauma, PTSD. A lot of veterans go and take Ibogaine. It resets your brain, right? It resets the neurons. It gives you incredible plasticity in your neurons. So then you can start to make new habits, form new patterns, and all that.
So what's your experience? So you took the capsule. You were at the retreat center.
Yes.
And where was it again? Hawaii?
I was in Hawaii, but that, if I was going to recommend somebody to do it, Mexico. There are so many good, just really top-notch places there with the people who have all these decades of experience with Ibogaine.
Okay.
So that's the place to go.
So you took the capsules, and then how long does it take to hit? What happens to you? How are you feeling before? I guess I want to know what it feels like to do Ibogaine. I've never done Ibogaine.
Yeah, so you spend the day kind of preparing. I did it at nighttime, which I think many places are like that, just because the plant sort of vibes better with the night, right? So prepare during the day, just fasting, eating a little fruit in the morning. And then it takes about an hour to kick in. Everybody's different, of course, with the way they metabolize anything, right? It lasts a long time. So you're talking about 12, 14, some people 18 hours. You're going to be
wow.
So
That's
you
the-
had somebody like guide you through this and walk you through this and have like a guide the whole time you were experiencing this?
Not a guide, more like just somebody watching over you. So in most, pretty much any place you go, unless you go to Africa and do it with the tribe, you'll be in a more of a medical setting, right? So
Oh,
you'll be
okay.
hooked up probably to an EKG, and you'll be, they'll come and check on you like every half hour or something, which was my case. Help you go to the bathroom if you need to go to the bathroom, whatever.
How is it? Are you able to walk?
I was not able to for a lot of it. I had to go to the bathroom once, and so they helped me.
Okay.
Go
So
to
you
the
need
bathroom.
you need assistance.
It's
You can't just
super-
get up and go.
No, it's super strong.
Do you see things? Do you hear things?
Yeah, I think that's for most people. There is a visual component. For me, like the intense physical sensation was like every cell in my body like kind of vibrating, so it was very uncomfortable. And then you could feel a lot. I could feel so much in my head, like rearranging. And so like a lot of the visuals I experienced were like things rearranging, like puzzle pieces, and also like plants like moving around, which I think was a reflection of the neurons rearranging.
Wow.
super interesting. A visual representation of what your brain subconscious is doing.
I think so.
That's really cool. Probably connected
So-
together.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How long was this process that you went through until like you were on the other side and cleared? How long?
For me, it was about 12 hours. I have a fast metabolism. So for me, it was about 12 hours. And then really the next day, you rest and integrate, right? Like just, you're very tired, you're worn out, you rest, you let things settle in, take hold. And then pretty much every place does what's called a booster. So the day after that, you'll get a little bit more Ibogaine and maybe even 2 boosters. So it's a whole, like, it's usually a week-long process.
Okay. And after that week,
What?
and after that week, how do you feel?
Well, so if you ever had like thoughts where you get stuck in like a loop, like something like you obsess over and or keep revisiting, in your head, the thing that I noticed the most about that was that all of those were gone. It was super easy to like direct my thoughts, have control over like where my mind was going. So that was like the first thing I really noticed, like strongly.
Okay.
But other things can take like a couple months really to fully integrate the experience.
Did that stick? Not be like when not getting caught in that thought loop. Does that stick?
That did stick, but then of course new thought patterns and loops form over time. So really, you have this beautiful window of opportunity after you've done Ibogaine, really for like 2 weeks, they say, where if you can manage to rearrange your life and form these new habits and these new patterns of living, like add in all the healthy things that you really want to do, the meditation, the rising early, the eating well, the spiritual side. If you can add all those in, your brain is most susceptible to rewiring like within that 2-week period after you did a flood dose.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, after you did the booster the next day, is that experience just as intense? Does it
No.
last half
No.
as long? Or?
You're up walking around. And,
You're doing
just
it.
chilling.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I went for a walk, like hung out, like read a little bit, went for a walk. It's
Okay,
more just like a medicinal, just to, help your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Adapt.
Yeah, it's not like really.
It's like
you're
a
not like
transitional-
tripping. You're not tripping with the booster.
Okay. All right.
That is awesome. So after the Ibogaine and you had this experience, what led you? I know that you went to Mexico, right? You were a
Right.
What? Tell me about that. How'd you get there?
Yeah. How'd you get there?
Yeah, that was another really strange coincidence, right?
Yeah.
Some synchronicity. The provider for the Ibogaine I went to, they tell you about the integration period, right? Like that if you set up these good habits right after the flood, then you have the best chance of success, right? And there is one place in Mexico, maybe two, that offers Ibogaine aftercare. That's what it's called, right? So it's another retreat wellness center, which, is experienced with taking people post Ibogaine to go through another program where you do have all of those healthy components to help you really set up for long-term success. So I did a 6-week program at this other wellness center with all those all those pieces, the exercise, the meditation, the ice baths,
So they
the
help you set up
yoga.
your routine.
There's a strict schedule and you
Oh,
follow
there's a
that.
schedule.
You
That's
know,
cool.
a vegetarian diet. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So basically, what you're saying.
What?
Sorry. I was just going to say, so basically what you're saying is that Ibogaine can be used as like a tool to really elevate you in the right direction, like changing your life. But so it's not the answer, the solution, but it does help people transition from one phase to another. So it
Exactly.
can be used to benefit you. Wow.
Totally. That's what, in terms of a tool, like that's what it's the best for, is giving you a fresh start, right? Like giving you that, final push that you can change the direction. Also for addiction, so it's with opiates, it is able to get rid of withdrawal symptoms, right? So people, scientists discovered that has this incredible property that just regenerates your opioid receptors. So people don't go through detox, so they do the flood, and then they'll still like feel shitty for a little bit, but you miss that whole like detox period. So a lot of people do go for opiate withdrawal.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. So after you went to, you were I could say, I guess, patient at this wellness center. Didn't you start working there?
Yeah. I ended up really having such an incredible experience that I decided to stay and help out there and just be an ambassador and a guide for the people who were coming in after me.
Oh, we forgot to talk about that. It's an ayahuasca retreat center, right?
Yep. You do some plant medicine. This particular one I went to was ayahuasca. So you do, sweat lodges, the ice baths, yoga, and then you have a couple ceremonies, because what they found is, so you're doing like intensive psychotherapy there too, right? Like a couple times a week, plus some psychotherapeutic groups.
With a doctor or with a therapist?
With a psychotherapist.
Oh,
yeah. You're seeing a doctor every week also, for more like Chinese medicine, like acupuncture, cupping, like that sort of thing. And then, you use the ayahuasca ceremonies to really speed up the psychotherapeutic process. So in combination,
So does it make you, like the neuroplasticity concept is the same between Ibogaine and ayahuasca? Or
it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
No. The ayahuasca is different. It's way more visual, right? It's DMT, right? So it's much more psychedelic, visual, but it also like opens you up and connects you, your mind and your heart, like get much more connected in that ceremony, right? And then, you combine that with a therapy, and it just allows you to reach places that might take like 6 months or a year to reach in a more traditional setting.
That's the one I'm the most like intrigued by, is the ayahuasca. It seems crazy. We got to do it.
It is super crazy. It's like a whole nother world.
Seeing the world differently from what I've seen. Well, I guess I've heard Aaron Rodgers talk about it, the quarterback.
Yeah.
And just that he's just, it changed the way he looks at the world and the way he looks at his career and the way he looks at himself. And I see that with you.
Right.
True. Totally. Like, and it's, if done correctly, it's like a very ceremonial setting. right? It's a very controlled, contained ceremonial setting with a curandero or a shaman who has experience guiding people, because you can get lost, right? It's a very powerful psychedelic. So you can get lost easily, after taking the medicine. So, the guide is there to help you in those moments where you're lost or struggling.
That sounds great. It sounds like a good to ease someone anxiety to have that person there. It would make me way more comfortable doing it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I
it
heard
seems
that-
like such an intense experience.
Yeah, you got to have somebody there who knows what they're doing, for sure.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I've heard like some actual things that happen, like from ayahuasca, you like throw up or you get really sick or whatever. You get through all of that. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty common. It's so you go into the ceremony fasting, right? And you spend the afternoon sort of like reflecting, meditating, setting intentions things you want to work on during the ceremony. So you go in with an empty stomach, but you still, I would say, not everybody, but I would say a majority of people do purge.
Right.
But it's more an energetic thing, right? You're not like throwing up your lunch. It's like it's an energetic purge.
Wow.
You're releasing stuck emotions or traumas or whatever from your body. So
Right.
yeah.
Super cool. What about psilocybin? You know anything about that?
I mean, I don't have as much experience. I think Alex probably knows more about that than me.
Well, let's continue on though with you. I'll get into my experience with psilocybin, aka shrooms, but I'm interested to see your experience on mushrooms and then how they compare to ayahuasca and ibogaine. How the three.
Yeah, wow, that is it's an interesting comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So the mushrooms, I think, have a much more earth grounding feel. Like you feel much more connected to like nature. And then I don't know, like visually though, there's a lot of similarities
between the three.
Yeah, but not between ibogaine, but between mushrooms and ayahuasca. Visually, there's definitely some overlap. Like the sort of things you're seeing in the colors and patterns. And then I think in terms of like processing emotions, certainly the mushrooms are much easier to handle. Like they're less stern than the ayahuasca. Like
the ayahuasca is more has an agenda for you.
It's much more strict and stern, and you can have a much harder time with it, I would say. So I would say the mushrooms are more gentle, but you still get all of this introspection and learning with the mushrooms.
Yeah. Hey, sorry.
The dogs are.
Are they having a fight?
They don't fight, but they definitely are not.
They're playing rough. They're playing.
Tails are wagging.
So Jeff, would you recommend anyone struggling with anxiety or depression that this is something that is safe and something that anyone in the world can do, or go through?
The mushrooms are a lot more like, the psilocybin is more lenient, right, in terms of like if you're on medications, existing medications. Ayahuasca, it's very strict. You cannot be taking any like pharmaceutical like SSRIs or antidepressant or anti-anxiety meds. You can't do it.
It messes with the chemical, because DMT is a chemical that's released in your brain.
Right. It's too risky.
Yeah.
It's too risky. So you have to go into the ayahuasca pretty clean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in terms of like people who are struggling with mental health issues, I think it's less about the actual substance and more about the whole thing surrounding it, like whether it's the ceremony, whether it's the space being contained, and the help you would get afterwards. Because if you just go and do like a random ceremony, it's not necessarily gonna like cure you of anything, right? Like the real work happens after the ceremony. Like when you have to put the things into action that you learned during the ceremony. Yeah.
So you need a willingness to like want to change your life.
You need a willingness. You need people who have experience, like helping you, integrate like what you experienced properly. So those things are key for sure for successful.
Nice.
Do you have a favorite of the three, or one that you feel more connected to, or one that just like completely changed your life? Well, it sounds like they all did.
Yeah, I would say the ayahuasca, because it's just the whole ritual and ceremony around that, and like the experience I had, right? Because I was only doing that in Mexico, right? The mushrooms, it's like, well, they're accessible here, but not so much the ayahuasca. And so it was just the whole experience surrounding the ayahuasca that made it special for me.
Right.
Like for example, the Temazcal, or the sweat lodge, that was something that I connected with the most in Mexico. Something I had no experience with, but something that over the 18 months I was there, that became like my thing, right?
Tell me what the sweat lodge is.
The sweat lodge, it's a native tradition in North America, Mexico, like Central and South America. It's a tradition everywhere. Each, everyone does it a little bit differently, right? In Mexico, it's called a Temazcal. In New York or whatever, it's called the sweat lodge. So
how hot is it?
It depends. It depends on what the fire and the rocks think you need that day.
Oh, really? So it's in fire and rocks? Okay.
Yeah.
How do you set it up?
Okay, so you build like an hour and a half, 2 hours beforehand. You build a fire with large pieces of wood, and you put volcanic rocks on top of the fire, and then you light the fire beneath, and the fire heats up the rocks, so they're super hot.
Is it moist in the room? Is it misty, or is it completely dry?
It's humid. Yeah.
Humid. Here.
Yeah, you bring the rocks in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once again, it's ceremonial. There's music, there's prayers, there's intentions surrounding it, and the person running the Temazcal will, guide it, and they pour water on the rocks. And when you pour the water on the rocks, it gets much hotter. The rocks by themselves, yes, super.
Oh, because the humidity.
Super.
I'm just wondering because I love hot yoga, and it's like 105, 107 in the room, and that's not even hot enough for me anymore. Like I want real heat. So I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, you would really love this then.
We're going in February.
Are you?
Yeah.
Where? To Mexico?
Mexico.
I want to go.
You should consider, but we'll talk about that at a different time.
Yeah, you would totally love it, Bridget, because it's depending on the one you go to. Like I could take you to one that is, it's like it's hard to breathe because it's the air is hot going into your lungs.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's that hot. Yeah.
And there's so many benefits.
Do you ice bath after that?
No,
you would die, right?
No, that's good. The hot and cold, but
seems intense.
Yeah, but what I was saying is like the sweat lodge, gets combined with the ceremonies often, right? It's a cleansing ritual to prepare you for the medicine. So you would do a Temazcal, a sweat lodge, before you do an ayahuasca ceremony to clear out your energy and anything you're holding on to, and then you would go into the ceremony. So,
awesome. Sweet. Yeah. Can't wait.
And then when you finish up the ceremony, okay, so the preparation is with the fasting and the Temazcal, you do the ceremony, and then do you close it up? You don't close it up with an ice bath or anything?
No, the ceremony you close with an integration the next day. At least that's how they did it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
To start that habit.
Yeah, you go around in a circle, everybody talks about their experience, reflect each other's experience, with the group, and the person leading it as well.
Sweet.
But you know what we didn't hit on,
What?
which I have like a little limited experience with, is the peyote.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't touch that one.
Yeah, peyote.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Is that the frog one?
It's mescaline. It's from a cactus.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. I've
So-
heard of the peyote. Yes.
In the American Southwest, like New Mexico, probably California too, Arizona, it grows. The San Pedro and the I don't know the actual name of the peyote cactus, but
Is it mescaline?
it grows there. Mescaline is the psychoactive ingredient.
Oh, okay.
So I did do one of those ceremonies. Like,
how was that?
super desert energy. Like, yeah,
What do you see? Deserty
kind of, yeah.
you see things?
You do. It's very visual, very intense. A lot of movement of emotions with that one. At least for me, it was
Like flip flopping of emotions, or
like just moving emotions in your body. Like that was my experience with that. Yeah, and yeah, overall physically very healing. Yeah,
what is it?
I just-
How,
it tastes
how long
very.
did that one last?
raw. It lasts a super long time. Also, like 12 hours.
Oh, really?
It's an all night one.
Oh, that one's a night one too.
It's all night into the morning,
Wow.
like through till like noon the next day.
Have you ever tried the frog one? What's the frog one called?
It's called Bufo.
Bufo.
Have not tried it.
Poison.
No.
Little bit
Wait, what's this one?
intimidating. That's combo.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you
That's not psychedelic.
Oh, that's just a purge.
Yeah. The Bufo,
We can talk about that.
Bridget, is like it's DMT also. But it's very short acting, right? You inhale it.
That's what. Okay, because I've heard somebody who's done it before, and they said it's very short. It's a short experience, but it's crazy. And you inhale it. Yeah. So
That's the one Mike Tyson loves
Oh, really?
because it makes him feel very small.
And he likes that about him?
He said nothing in this world ever made me feel small until
Wow.
I tried smoking Bufo. Yeah.
That makes me like,
Yeah.
that makes me feel something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's great.
Smart and he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny.
So Bufo, mescaline, or peyote.
Quite the sampler package here.
Yeah.
We really hit on everything. I mean, I'm super grateful for this
So-
experience. I never had any experience with anything like this before.
Mhm.
It was quite an intense couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it all came to you. It aligned perfectly at the perfect time when you needed to experience and go through it. And now you've come back to New York, and well, you're in Florida right now, but in New York, and you can spread this message that you have and this awareness, and let people know that there is like help available in all different aspects. And this has helped you and changed the way, like you said, that you see the world, which is like key to anybody who wants to change their life. It's really just changing this, you know what I mean? Your brain, the way you see things, the way you hear things. So I think it's an incredible story.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for sharing all of that. I learned a lot. I hope you guys learned a lot.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was a cool experience.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Your shirt is sweet. Can
Yeah.
you tell us about this real quick? Can you close it up? What is this? This looks trippy as hell.
These are
Can you
DMT
show up,
patterns.
or can you?
He wore his trippy shirt to be here today.
These are DMT patterns.
Oh.
Like they, yeah,
Sweet.
it's from Mexico. Like
So
they
this
make
is what
cool
you
shirts.
see
Yeah.
when you're on it.
It can be one of the things, but it's reminiscent, right, of that world, that DMT world.
But it's also interesting because you wear Jeff wears this beaded bracelet from Mexico that he got, and when you look at this looks like beads.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but
yeah. Like a
the
lot of
DMT is-
the native peoples, they have their own art. You know, like the witch hole are the ones who guard the peyote cactus. And like they have their own beaded art, which is reflective of that
Wait,
masculine world.
Oh.
there's a group of, what did you call them?
The tribe is the witch hole.
The witch hole. They guard the cactuses?
They're the guardians of the Paiute. Yep.
Wow. That's
Yeah, and in Mexico, like it's a sacred plant. Yeah,
And everyone know that's just like a knowing.
it's the thing. Yep. You know, the government doesn't have any say, anything like that. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that,
I'm
maybe
sure
you
there's
can-
ceremonies in New Mexico, California. I guarantee there's tons. There's
Texas maybe.
could be. I'm sure it grows there. I'm not sure how Texas and ceremonies if that goes along super well.
Yeah, hand in hand. Yeah. Bridget, she's there.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jeff. Again, if anyone has any questions about anything that he talked about, or anything about anything, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Like, follow,
Well-
subscribe. Tell us about your trippiest experiences. What transformed you?
hmm
What helped you when you were going through a rough time?
Yeah. Would love to hear from people's experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Alex. We should do this
Thank
again
you.
very soon.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
We're gonna get another guest on soon. We'll be on in a couple more days. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
All right.
All right. Until then.
Later, guys. Thank you.
Bye.